Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and HBO's Succession final season has posed the question, who will succeed the throne of the media conglomerate Waystar Royco? And how depressed will this make us about the state of the country? Or just the state of HBO, which is now just called Max.
Max?
Now, if you don't watch Succession, you totally should. If you don't have time to watch the first 3 seasons, you can check out my recap of the first 3 seasons and watch the episodes of season 4 on Max. But spoiler warning from here forward, because it will be spoiling major plot points from the entire series, but just the first 9 episodes of season 4, because I haven't seen the series finale episode yet as of this taping. But this final season of Succession has been a knife fight among the members of the Roy family after Logan Roy's death in season 4, episode 3. Logan's children, Kendall, Roman, and Siobhan, or Shiv, are left jockeying for control of the company, all in this dance with Gojo tech head Lucas Matson, the boys trying to block his buyout so they can stay in control of the company, Shiv trying to help it so that he'll put her in charge of the company. But all 3 of these kids have skeletons in their closet that could disqualify them. Kendall, of course, killed that caterer and was part of the cover-up. Roman sent dick pics to Jerry that she very recently threatened to release in episode 7, and Shiv, remember, pressured that witness in Waystar's sex abuse cruise scandal at the end of season 2. So I began this season assuming Tom Wamsgans was gonna come out on top, but another character has crept in from the shadows to make a strong claim for the CEO job, and you can see him coming from a mile away. Cousin Greg! Greg the mother egg! Now again, I have not seen the finale episode yet, and I could be totally wrong about this, but I want to give you all the clues setting up why Greg might win Succession, and if not in the events in the finale episode, maybe at some point in the hypothetical epilogue future of this fictional world. Because remember, the series opens with Greg, showing him at the bottom, working at the Waystar theme park, puking out of the eye holes of Waystar's mascot. What a perfect metaphorical opening image for this future CEO. The Mickey Mouse of this world, puke spewing out of his eyes. The entire pilot episode is from Greg's outsider point of view, accidentally getting roped along with the Roy family events, establishing his ability to just appear in a room whenever an incredibly important decision is being made. Throughout season 1, Greg forms an alliance with Tom, who bullies Greg and forces him to destroy damning documents about Waystar's cruise scandal. If this is all the hero's journey for Greg, this would be his call to adventure, because Greg smartly makes copies of some of those documents, and he later uses them to try to blackmail Tom. But when Tom tries to destroy these documents in his fire pit, Greg snatches a few of them out of that fire pit, and then later uses these documents as leverage to briefly align with Kendall at the end of season 2 at that press conference when Kendall turns on Logan. So in season 3, while Tom is worried about going to prison over all this, Greg's position just rises and rises at the company. And when his grandpa Ewan, Logan's estranged brother, gives Greg's inheritance to Greenpeace, Greg sues Greenpeace. And in the season 3 political conference in Virginia, this wins him the support of a bunch of alt-right bros, the guys who will sweep Jared Mankin to victory throughout the primary process. So when season 4 begins, Greg has risen in stature more than any other character in this series. In season 4, episode 4, a possible addendum to Logan's will is discovered with some penciled in notes next to Greg's name.
You're an addendum of miscellaneous matters in pencil with a question mark.
Nevertheless.
Dad may have said he wanted me to take over.
And so then maybe the natural conclusion might perhaps be I'd be his number 2?
Nice try, kid.
Set up the possibility that even Logan had his eye on this kid. During the Norway retreat in episode 5, Greg surprisingly has good intel about Gojo that the other big players don't have.
Oh, so there is a kill list?
Oh, yeah, I have it on good authority. There's a kill list. 8, 9 names? It's evolving.
Greg consistently proves that he is thinking big.
Just saying, yeah, in case you guys want to sling some ideas around, just within the safety of the quad.
The quad?
Yeah, the quad squad. The Roy Patrol, the old team, the family.
The fuck?
And when Tom tries to impress Matson with his only card to play, belittling Greg, Greg pivots immediately and proves he's actually read a recent article in The Economist. And he looks, well, less idiotic than Tom, but that's really all he needs to prove in this moment. In episode 6, it's Greg that Kendall uses to orchestrate a critical deepfake of Logan's video recording to convince investors that Living Plus will be successful.
I'm convinced that the Living Plus real estate brand can bring the cruise ship experience to dry land and double the earnings of our parks division.
Okay. That's not cool.
It's really well edited.
And in episode 7, Tom makes Greg fire dozens of Waystar International employees over Zoom, a rite of passage for every CEO. And during the election Eve party, notice how Greg takes note of how tired Tom is.
Are you tired? Maybe a little. Oh, man. Maybe drink a coffee.
If I drink a coffee, then I won't be able to sleep later. Think, Greg.
Yes, sleepy Tom has been an important figure in these latter episodes. In episode 8, Greg tells Tom that he spent the past evening partying with Matson, drinking things that aren't drinks, dancing with an old man, and then drops some key intel.
I got the impression. Do you know about Matson with Shiv and their sort of, like, their business alliance agreement.
And then later in this episode, Tom asks,
Where's my coffee?
Tom, I don't do coffee anymore,
No,
man.
Greg! Greg, I have to be clear. I have to. If I get drowsy and I miscall Colorado, instability, right?
but instead, Greg tells Tom that he got him his cocaine.
Do you want some of what you asked for?
Yeah, hit me. But this is not a thing, okay? It's not going in a book.
Not going in a book. A call back to the fact that Greg was the leak who talked to that Logan Roy biographer back in season 2 and led to that whole bore on the floor moment when Tom covered for Greg. Throughout the series, Greg is a contact that they've used to score drugs, like in season 2.
Ew. Dude. Where did you get this?
It's from a connection in the park.
Park Coke?
Yeah.
I'm doing Park Coke? Are you f***ing kidding me? Yeah, no, that's the worst Coke I've ever had.
So back to Sleepy Tom. I think Greg might be intentionally giving Tom bad Coke, Park Coke, or just Coke laced with a downer that has made Tom lethargic during these important decisions. In the election episode, Tom begins the night saying he makes the call.
But you don't make the call. I make the call.
And by the end of the night, he sleepily surrenders it.
Hey guys, it's not my call.
Water is like the vegetables of drinks. It's important, but it isn't really fun. But with Air Up, drinking enough water every day goes from being something you have to do to something you want to do. Air Up uses your sense of smell to make your water delicious. There's no sugar, no calories, no junk, making Air Up a healthy alternative to sugary flavored beverages. It's just plain water in here, but Air Up's revolutionary hydration system lets you choose what flavor you want from a variety of tasty flavor pods. So here's how it works. I got water in here, and I got an orange flavor pod. You just plug that flavor pod on, you hold it up to your mouth, and you breathe in through your nose as you sip. And something magical happens in your brain to make it taste like orange. So you sip, you don't tip, and the bubbles carry the scent to your nose and your brain just makes the flavor. Personally, I really like this orangeade flavor. It makes me feel like I'm having a sports drink, but without all that extra calories. And I drink way more water than I used to, and that just makes me feel better than I used to. To reinvigorate your relationship with water and get an Air Up bottle of your own, just click the link in the description and use code NR20 to get 20% off your order today. Remember, back in season 3, Tom was in the process of adjusting to low quality food to prepare for prison life.
You know that Rasputin would take a dose of arsenic with breakfast each morning to build up his tolerance.
Rasputin reference. The first of 2 this season, because later in the season 3 finale, Kendall tells Roman in the car that Madsen's gonna take him to the cellar and Romanov him. But Rasputin was an advisor to the Russian Romanov family. Rasputin snaked his way into this royal family and was later killed by the Romanov cousins. Tom is Rasputin, the outsider who wormed his way into the royals and gets taken out right at the end. Greg is the cousin. In this election episode, the infamous wasabi scene, Chekhov's Bodega Sushi, right by Darwin's laptop. We see Darwin slide it with his finger, and that finger grazes the wasabi right before he touches his eye. And then Greg pours lemon LaCroix in the eye, making it worse, so that Darwin is unable to provide any credibility to the Wisconsin call on ATN, and the election gets swayed to Mencken. Now, I don't think Greg is a secret genius or anything, but he is a more truly American success story. A dummy, tall white guy with the right name who just happens to be at the right place at the right time, while other more competent people have to drop out, and soon enough, this guy is the last man standing. Really, the American success story is that all the European powers just took each other out during the Napoleonic Wars. Yet, we should point out that Greg does make moves. Like it is Greg who rats out Shiv to Kendall that Shiv was going behind their backs to cut a deal with Madsen, leading to the pivotal realignment during that election night episode. In episode 9, Tom freaks out over how a rival newspaper covers that decision at ATN.
So who gave them the timeline?
Well, a lot of people know. A lot of people don't want to go to The Hague for war crimes.
This is a great graphic of Darwin. But think this diminishes my role.
Notice how throughout this, Greg keeps checking his phone. Since he was that leaker in season 2 to the biographer, it was probably him who gave the timeline to the newspaper and deliberately in that newspaper diminished Tom's role in it. So then at the funeral, Greg wants Roman to make an introduction between him and President-elect Mencken, so long as Greg can stop Ewan from making a speech. But Ewan goes up anyway and pushes off Greg, allowing Ewan to make this powerful eulogy that completely throws off Roman's planned tribute to his father. And Roman crumbles in this episode. But notice how Greg compliments Ewan after this.
It's a good hard take that you gave.
So just to recap, Greg knows Tom ordered him to destroy the documents and diminish Tom's role at ATN, and he kept the receipts. Greg blew a tackle on Ewan at the funeral so Roman could get sacked. Greg brought down Shiv by snitching on her on election night, and throughout all this, Greg has been endearing himself to Madsen off screen. And we never talk about this, but Greg might know about Kendall and the caterer. Kendall had been hitting up Greg for drugs all night, and we forget how it was Greg who directed Kendall to that caterer.
Some guys smoke weed around the back, I think. You might know.
You little Machiavellian f***. I see you, Greg.
Greg has all the receipts, so if Greg wins, it would just make far more sense than Bran winning in Game of Thrones at the end of that, as Greg would be a perfectly satirical statement on America, where the blandest cream always rises to the top, and it's really the doofus tall relatives who inherit the earth. Hey, subscribe to our new channel, The Deep Dive, and you can support us for grabbing some merch at nerdriot.shop, and check out our newest series on this channel, Tommy Tours. In each episode, your travel guide, Tom Tours, will take you on a journey exploring a fantastical location from one of your favorite nerdy properties. The series premieres this Thursday, so be sure to check it out. Here's Tom Tours to tell you more.
Do you want to take your family on an unforgettable vacation? Have you looked at a map or globe lately and thought, boring? Then you need to take a tour. A Tommy Tour. Tommy Tours is a new weekly infotainment experience where I, Tom Tours, will take you on a tour of the universe's hottest locales. Tours.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss, follow New Rockstars, and subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thanks for watching. Bye.